Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now, your #1 source for tips, tricks, and everything you need to know for fantasy Premier League football. Today we're going to be going over some potential transfer targets for Game Week 6. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment who are you bringing in this week, subscribe if you're brand new. Let's get into the video. So starting things off, what we're going to do is go over 2 players that you should think about buying, 2 players that you should think about selling if they are in your team, and then a player to hold as well. So we're starting off with Rudiger, one of the Chelsea centre-backs. Now, obviously, as we all know, did just get a massive haul at the weekend, hasn't had a price rise yet, but he probably will go up to 5.6 by the time we do get to the deadline. Alonso, of course, did just get a price rise. I think he's now 5.8, so it's kind of already happening, and that is the reason that he's on today's video, because I think that the price rise is just going to keep going up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him being at 5.7 by the time they do play Southampton at home. Of course, their next fixture is City at home, which is kind of putting a lot of people off, but at the same time, City weren't great against Southampton, and Chelsea are a completely different team. It's at Stamford Bridge as well. I think that maybe Rudiger could even get a return against City, and even if they don't, well, hey, he's still got Southampton at home, Brentford away, Norwich at home, Newcastle away, and even some more fixtures after that that are green. And it's just such a good fixture run, and a lot of people are going to be doubling up or tripling up on Chelsea assets. I'm going to personally try and bring in Rudiger, Alonso, and then Lukaku up front. I just think that the fixtures are too good to miss out on. Of course, the expected goals and expected assists for Rudiger aren't great at the moment, but that's because he's not a fullback. He's a centre-back, so he's not going to be getting a lot of chances, not going to be creating a lot of chances. He did obviously score a pretty good goal as well at the weekend, but you're bringing him in for the clean sheet potential, and I just think that Chelsea are gonna barely concede 1 goal from like game week 7 to like game week 12 or whatever. So I think Rudiger is definitely a player that a lot of people should be taking a look at. And I get it if you don't want to bring him in for game week 6, because obviously City is a tough fixture, but after that you definitely have to bring him in. And of course, if you don't want to deal with the price rise, then get him in now. Next up, we have Antonio. Now, of course, Antonio is a player that a lot of people transferred out when he did get the red card, but now a lot of people are bringing him in again. I think he's probably going to go back up to 8 mil. I think 200,000 people have already brought him back in. He is obviously a ridiculous FPL asset this year. Expected goals of 2.7, expected assists 1.2. He's already scored 4 this season. He scored 1 in the Europa League as well, so he's actually got 5 this season. He's assisted 3, and he's in 33% of teams. I was an idiot. I accidentally transferred him out. Well, not accidentally. Basically, when the whole situation happened with DCL and he was pictured in training, I was like, oh, of course, you know, DCL is definitely going to be in the team. That wasn't the case, though. DCL was also injured, and I'd already got rid of Antonio for Bamford, so it was a bit of a mess for me. I mean, it was a very much of a schoolboy error. It's just I only did it because I saw the training pictures for DCL. It was at training like 4 times that week. Didn't say anything about a broken toe then, and then suddenly he has one. So yeah, I'm probably going to be bringing Antonio back in this week for maybe Jimenez or even Bamford. Bamford is flagged at the moment. He did have an ankle problem at the end of the last game, and that seems to still be a problem. So of course, hold out on your transfers until we do get the press conferences and stuff. But yeah, Antonio is definitely a player that I should think about bringing back in. He's got a decent fixture in as well. Leeds away obviously is a really good fixture because Leeds just on it at the moment. They've got a lot of problems at the back, a few injuries. Like I say, Rafinha's kind of injured, Bamford might be injured, obviously Ayling was injured, came off early, Stroud's still out. Like, there's a lot of problems at Leeds. And then they're playing Brentford at home, which is probably arguably a worse fixture than Leeds, because Brentford just don't concede. I don't know what they're doing, but they're just doing a fantastic job of not conceding. Everton all over the place. They have no strike force at the moment. Richarlison and DCL being out. They're playing Rondon, Gray, and Townsend up front, which isn't the best front 3. And then obviously they're at home to Tottenham, game week 9. Again, Tottenham are not a good team at the moment either. They're just slipping back-to-back 3-0s. Not great. And then they've got Villa away. So some pretty nice fixtures for Antonio over the next few weeks. A few people are opting to bringing in Ben Rama as well. He's cheaper. But of course, Antonio probably being back on pens. And like I said, they had a pen against United in the last minute. Antonio would have been on that, probably would have scored it. Unfortunately, he wasn't on the pitch though. But yeah, Antonio definitely another player that you should think about buying 100%. Coming up next though, who are we selling for game week 6? Can't believe I'm saying this, but Roberto Carlos has to go. Man United at the back have just not been very good this season, keeping one clean sheet, and as well as that, that clean sheet shouldn't have even happened. Wolves got very, very unlucky not to score in that game. Sure, he's getting forward, he's creating chances, but I don't know, at the back, United just don't seem settled at the moment. He only has an XG of 0.02, expected assists of 0.16. He's got 1 assist this season. 41% of teams have him as well. I think he was at like 55%. I think he was like the highest owned FPL asset at the start of the season, and now he's already dropped by 10%. And the fixtures don't get that good either. He's an easy, like, you can easily go from Shaw to Rudiger or Shaw to Alonso. Like, they're around the same price range. Yes, they've got Villa at home game week 6, but I can even see them conceding in that game. You know, Villa were very, very good at the weekend, and I can see them scoring against United, even though it is at Old Trafford. And then after that, they're at home to Everton, Leicester away, then Liverpool at home, Tottenham away. Like, a lot of these fixtures aren't really something you really want to be jumping on. Like, when Chelsea from game week 7 have all green fixtures, like, you're going to want to sell Shaw and bring in Rudiger. But again, the Aston Villa game, if you want to keep him for one more game week and hope that he does something, then, you know, that's completely fine. It is up to you. It's just personally, I just don't really see why you'd really keep him at the moment, especially with like Rudiger and that lot, and Alonso and all these good players that have just got much better fixtures over the next coming weeks. So yeah, it's been unfortunate. Like I say, from the Euros and everything, Shaw was just such a good player, and he still is a really good player. It's just, it's just not clicking. It's just not clicking. It's just not going too well for old Lukey boy. But that is one of the players I would think about selling if I still had him in my team. But coming up next, we have another Man United asset, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is Bruno Fernandes. He's already had a price drop. He's now at 11.9 mil, which I think is his only ever price drop. Like, since Fernandes has been on FPL, he's just always shot up in price. But with the introduction of Ronaldo, he's not on pens anymore, most likely. Is it really worth the 12 mil when there's so many better assets out there? Like, for 12 mil, you probably want to be getting a penalty taker at least, because you can always rely on those. Like, we don't even know if Lukaku's on pens. I mean, Jorginho isn't kind of nailed anymore, and I guess if Jorginho isn't on the pitch, then Lukaku would probably get the penalties. But with Fernandes probably not being on penalties, might not be on free kicks, I don't know. I just think it's so much money to bring in for a player, even though he's actually had a really good season so far. He hasn't scored a penalty yet, but he has scored 4 goals. He's got an XG of 1.2, expected assists of 1.5, and of course he is still owned by 32.7% of teams. But again, like I say, with Ronaldo being in the picture now, and obviously the fixture swing as well, Villa at home, again, you could keep him for that week, but then game week 7, 8, 9, 10, like, they're not great fixtures, and again, especially with Chelsea, like, you can easily downgrade him to, like, Mason Mount or something like that, and then obviously just bring in another really, really good player, or De Bruyne as well. Again, De Bruyne doesn't have the best fixtures coming up, having Chelsea, then Liverpool, but after that, maybe that could be a player that you kind of target. I can't really warrant keeping Fernandes. I took him out as soon as Ronaldo was in United, and I'm very happy I did. You know, I've only missed out on like the 1 goal from Bruno, but in that time Ronaldo scored, what is it, 4? So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, unfortunately, Bruno is just a player that a lot of people are just selling at the moment, and like I say, for good reason. Ronaldo is right there and is a much better asset at the moment. Finishing things off though, a player to hold. Can't believe I'm saying this either. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Over 130,000 people have already sold this guy. Why? He just had a bad stomach. That's all. He doesn't have COVID. There's been no reports of him having COVID, so he should be back at the weekend. So why 130,000 people have sold this guy? I don't know. He is one of the best FPL assets you could have. They have a really good game against Brentford next. I get that City and United aren't the best fixtures coming up, but between those they have Watford and Brighton. Like, why are people selling him? Like, if he had COVID, fair play, because he'd probably missed like 1 or 2 game weeks. But I think he just had a poorly tummy. That's all. I think he's fine. And like I said, there's been no reports. Obviously, having an XG of 0.4, his expected assists are through the roof, 2.4. He's got 2 assists this season, 34.7% of people own him. But again, with everybody selling him, when he hauls, which he probably will do against Brentford, happy days for everyone that kept him. But yeah, it's just shocking me that obviously Trent has had so many people kind of sell him. He actually did go up in price as well, 7.6, which I didn't even realize. But yeah, Trent, just hold him, man. Like, just don't sell this guy. Like, he doesn't have COVID. There's been no reports about it. He just wasn't feeling very well. Might have had a headache. Might have had a bad stomach. Doesn't matter. He should be back for Brentford. Of course, we'll get team news about it, like in the conference and everything like that. But I don't see why people are selling this guy. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's transfer target video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, drop a like down below. Leave a comment. Who are you thinking of buying, selling this week? Let me know. Subscribe if you're brand new. Make sure to check out all the social media in the description down below. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.